Told you that Erika Kirk was continuing Charlie Kirk's legacy, and the truth is she's not. Right when Charlie started questioning a specific nation, they took him out. Almost like they just wiped it away, because he was getting too close to the truth. Erika Kirk, the grieving widow who never once smudged her dark eyeshadow, now says the show will go on.
Girl, you better sit down for this one because this tea is about to boil over. It's been just over a month since the shocking Charlie Kirk shootings, and the whole thing has America buzzing. The alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, is now in court, but the trial is unlike anything we've seen before. No cameras, no video, total blackout. People are calling it one of the most secretive trials in U.S. history. But guess what? That tight gag order might silence the press, but it clearly can't silence Candace Owens because, baby, she just broke her silence again. And what she's revealing this time is absolutely wild. Candace didn't just hint at drama. She dropped bomb after bomb about Charlie's widow, Erika Kirk. She's spilling how Erika allegedly had massive control over Charlie's career, his decisions at Turning Point America, and even over his personal life. Like, we're talking full-on control moves that left people stunned. And here's where it gets crazier. Candace claims Erika's sudden rise to CEO of Turning Point after Charlie's passing wasn't just coincidence. She's hinting that Erika knew what was coming. You heard that right? K-N-E. And if that doesn't make your jaw drop, get this. Candace is also calling out Erika's mother. She says the mom might have played a huge part in
And she forgives him. She forgives the man who we know isn't even probably the guy. And guess what? Her father worked for Raytheon's Israeli division. This isn't Charlie's legacy. And here's what we're not supposed to talk about. There is no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site, no official autopsy.
Everything that went down. Like, what? This story has it all. Power, secrets, and betrayal wrapped up in one messy, high-stakes scandal. And Candace isn't holding back anymore. She's tearing down the curtain and letting everyone see what's really been happening behind closed doors. So grab your popcorn, because this drama's just getting started. The FBI's version of events just isn't adding up, and Candace Owens is calling them out big time. She's been out here exposing the half-truths and flat-out misinformation the FBI's been feeding the public about Charlie Kirk's case. They're claiming the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, was handed over to authorities by his own family after seeing his face blasted all over national TV. But Candace says that story doesn't line up at all. Something about it smells off, and people are starting to notice. Now, Tyler Robinson is sitting in FBI custody, facing trial in what everyone's calling one of the most locked-down, secretive court cases in modern U.S. history. No cameras, no recordings, no transparency, nothing. The court even threw down a gag order so harsh it's practically a muzzle, forbidding anyone involved from speaking publicly. But the wildest twist? That order didn't just hit lawyers and witnesses, it came straight for Candace too. Yep, you heard that right. Candace Owens, along with several other creators who've been doing their own deep dives into the whole Charlie Kirk mystery, just got officially silenced by the court.
The Charlie Kirk saga couldn't get any more bizarre. The trial of Tyler Robinson is starting off on a very interesting path. Judge Tony Graff, who's just been on the bench for 56 days, you would think that they would get someone with a little bit more experience, has imposed one of the strictest gag orders.
They're banned from talking about the case at all while it's still ongoing. No updates, no commentary, no opinions, total blackout. According to Candace, this move isn't about protecting the integrity of the trial. It's about controlling the narrative. She says they don't want social media shaping public opinion, especially when too many people are already starting to question the FBI's story. It's like they're terrified of the truth getting out, and the harder they try to silence everyone, the more suspicious it all looks. Looks like it's gonna take way more than a court order to keep Candace Owens quiet, and because this woman refuses to stay silent. Even after the judge slammed that gag order on everyone connected to Charlie Kirk's case, Candace came back just days later with a shocking announcement that had people's jaws hitting the floor. She dropped serious claims about Charlie's widow, Erika Kirk, their relationship, and even Erika's mother, and let's just say the details are wild. Candace is now alleging that Erika wasn't just some random love story in Charlie's life, and she believes Erika was strategically placed there like a honeypot, a setup designed to move her into power. According to Candace, this wasn't love, it was a mission, and that mission ended with Erika sitting right at the top as the new CEO of Turning Point America. You can't make this up. It sounds like a political thriller come to life. And if you're wondering how Erika supposedly got into Charlie's orbit in the first place, buckle up! Candace pointed out something that has everyone talking.
I've ever heard of prohibiting anyone connected to the case from speaking to the media. I mean, citing concerns about pre-trial publicity and fairness. Now, the media, gag order. Lawyers, gag order. Law enforcement, gag order. The 3,000 people that were there, gag order. Candace Owens, gag order. She wasn't even there. And speaking of Candace Owens, she says she's got some information that she uncovered in the last week, which shows
Apparently, years ago, Erika's mom packed up and moved to Scottsdale to start a security company. But the real kicker, in one of Erika's old interviews, she openly mentioned that her mom had ties to the DOJ and Homeland Security. That's not rumor, that's straight from Erika's own words. So let's break it down. If those claims are true, that means her mom might have had access to some of the most powerful government systems in America. And suddenly, the idea that Erika's rise to power was a coincidence? Yeah, that's starting to sound a whole lot less believable. Candace didn't stop there. Oh no, she kept going. And what came next sent shockwaves across every corner of the internet. In her latest live stream, she laid out what she claims are disturbing connections between Erika Kirk's family, federal agencies, and even a few mysterious business deals that no one seems to be talking about. And she didn't mince words. She straight up said it's starting to look like Charlie's life may have been surrounded by more manipulation than love. Candace began by pulling up public records that allegedly show the security company Erika's mom founded years ago had contracts with state agencies, some even tied to defense work. She said, "You don't just wake up one morning with Homeland Security connections unless you've got serious backing." That line hit hard. According to Candace, that company's existence might be the missing puzzle piece explaining how Erika found herself around powerful political figures long before Charlie even entered the picture. She went on to say, "Look, this isn't just about a marriage. This is about power, placement, and control."
That Kirk was betrayed by everybody. Turning Point USA, gag order. I don't know what, everybody, gag order. The judge said, regardless of who is watching, whether it's the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. Well, integrity and diligence, I mean, integrity of the crime scene would have been a good start. I mean, maybe roping it off and not just cementing over it right after the guy, autopsy maybe, ballistics, something. Gag order. It's gonna be a...
Candace then showed old photos of Erika attending political events, fundraisers, and strategy dinners way before she and Charlie went public as a couple. She was in those rooms before she had the title Mrs. Kirk, Candace added. So tell me why. And then, boom! Candace revealed screenshots of archived pages from old Turning Point America blogs that mysteriously disappeared after Charlie's passing. On one of those pages, Erika was listed as a strategic advisor months before her relationship with Charlie was ever announced publicly. That detail blew people's minds. If that's accurate, it would mean Erika was already tied to the organization before she was even known as his partner. That's not just coincidence, that's planning. From there, Candace shifted gears and started talking about the tension that reportedly existed between Erika and several of Charlie's closest allies. She claimed that multiple insiders told her about heated arguments over funding decisions, media appearances, and brand deals. Charlie wanted to keep Turning Point focused on the grassroots movement, she explained, but Erika? She was allegedly pushing it toward elite partnerships, high-dollar donors, and government contracts. Candace said she believes that difference in direction caused serious friction, the kind that could make powerful people nervous about losing control. And once Charlie started questioning those partnerships, she says, things started moving fast. He was reportedly pulling away from certain business figures, refusing deals, and even considering restructuring the entire organization to cut out what he called unnecessary influence. Candace's words were sharp. When a man with that kind of platform suddenly says no to the wrong people...
Can I ask a question? This might be off topic. How did your mom choose Phoenix?
So she chose to move to Phoenix from Ohio because there was more of an opportunity for a female business owner out here. Especially from the standpoint of she was getting involved with the government, so Homeland Security and Department of Defense.
Things happen. At that point in her live stream, the chat exploded. Viewers began flooding her comments with their own research, linking dates, locations, and financial filings. Some claimed there were donations funneled through shell companies connected to Erika's mother's business. Others brought up corporate filings that showed overlapping board members between Turning Point and another private firm based out of DC. Candace didn't confirm every claim, but she encouraged people to keep digging, and because, as she said, the truth always leaves footprints. Then came what might be her most explosive claim yet. Candace alleged that a few weeks before Charlie's death, he had supposedly started writing what he called a transition plan. a document outlining new leadership and future strategies for Turning Point. According to her, this plan excluded certain individuals who later became key figures after his passing, including Erika herself. Candace said she'd heard from multiple sources that Charlie had no intention of handing the organization to his wife, no matter what anyone says now. She said, "If what I've seen is real, Charlie was planning a full internal cleanup. And somehow, right after that, he's gone, and the very people he was trying to remove are suddenly in charge." The tension in her voice was thick. "That's not conspiracy," she said. "That's cause for real questions." But it didn't stop there. Candace also revisited the gag order. She said she believes it wasn't about protecting justice at all, but about keeping people like her from uncovering too much. "The FBI doesn't want folks like me connecting dots they'd rather keep scattered," she said. "Because if you trace them far enough, they lead somewhere powerful, somewhere uncomfortable." To back her point, she showed clips of other creators who had discussed similar theories before their content was mysteriously flagged or taken down.
And so she had other business partners that were out here that were already in that industry, even one that was a mentor of hers. So it was really convenient to be able to come all together in one place to really have that. But my father ended up moving out here as well because my grandparents had a home out in Sun City. And so it took a little bit to get everyone out here. It took several years, but by that time everyone was out here, so we had a little bit more family than just us.
Why? She asked. Are videos being removed if they're just random speculation? If it's not true, why the panic? That statement got thousands of likes instantly. The censorship narrative only made her followers double down, convinced that something major was being hidden from the public. Candace then turned her focus back to Erika, calling her recent public appearances carefully curated PR tours. She analyzed how Erika has been photographed wearing black, attending events surrounded by advisors, and avoiding any unplanned interviews. "That's not grief, that's image management," she said. "She's moving like someone protecting a brand, not mourning a husband." And when one viewer commented asking if Candace thought Erika was directly involved, Candace didn't outright say yes, but she didn't say no either. She replied, "Let's just say I think she knows far more than she's telling the world." That one sentence sent chills across the audience. Then, as if that wasn't enough, Candace brought up a mysterious meeting that allegedly took place days after Charlie's passing. She claimed several Turning Point executives, including Erika, met privately with donors in Washington, D.C., and that within 48 hours, documents were filed to confirm Erika as the new CEO. "How?" she asked. "Did all that paperwork get done so fast? You don't just process that overnight unless everything was already lined up." She ended her stream with a fiery message. "This isn't just a tragic story, it's a power shift. And if the public keeps sleeping on this, they'll rewrite history right in front of us." Viewers were left speechless. The chat was filled with shock, disbelief, and outrage. People started tagging journalists, demanding transparency, and calling for someone, anyone, to dig deeper. Candace had thrown gasoline on a fire that was already burning hot, and now it was an inferno. Because what she implied wasn't just about Erika Kirk, it was about corruption, power, and control at the highest levels. And as she said in her closing words, "They can silence creators, they can block videos, but they can't bury the truth forever." This story had already been wild, but after that stream, it turned into something much bigger. Now everyone's wondering the same thing.
Erika and Charlie met. Do you want to know how they met? Okay, let's find out.
So if you ask him, this is the typical husband-wife. Like the husband has a very Spark Notes version, condensed, and then the woman has the longer, more meandering version. So I'll try to blend the two. But the interesting point is that year, that was in August. In May, I had taken a pilgrimage with my mom to Israel. And my whole intention of that trip was to find my future husband.
Was Charlie Kirk's downfall a tragic accident? Or the result of something far more calculated? The silence from officials speaks volumes, and people aren't waiting around for answers anymore. Word on the street is that Erika didn't just end up in Charlie Kirk's life by chance. Her mom allegedly trained her for it. Some insiders are calling her a honeypot, someone placed with precision to charm, control, and climb. Sounds wild, right? But when you start connecting the dots, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Let's start with one simple question. How did Erika manage to win Miss Arizona on her very first try in the pageant world? That almost never happens. The timing of it all, the preparation, the sudden exposure, it all feels way too perfect. And if that doesn't already raise eyebrows, wait till you hear how she met Charlie. According to Erika herself, their first meeting wasn't in some local event or conference. It was in Israel. Yup, while she was there with her mom. And according to Candace Owens, that meeting wasn't just a coincidence. It was arranged. Candace says Erika's mom actually encouraged her to get closer to Charlie, to charm him, to stay in his orbit. Was it fate or was it something way more deliberate? Because somehow they crossed paths again not long after, when Charlie interviewed her for a role at Turning Point USA. That's when things really took a turn. Candace is now claiming that Erika already had powerful ties overseas, even to Israeli intelligence circles. She says those same networks may have played a deeper role in the whole tragedy, and that the mole who made everything happen was none other than Charlie's own wife, Erika. That's a heavy accusation, but the way Candace broke it down had people glued to their screens. She says Erika wasn't just in Charlie's personal life.
If there was a hole in a rock anywhere to put a prayer, and those of you who've been to Israel, you know the Wailing Wall, all the different places you can stick a prayer on a little piece of paper, that was me. Like, had a piece of paper everywhere. And so I usually don't tell this part because it's very intimate, but I feel like I should. Bloom where you're planted, right? There's only a few flights out at the night in Israel back to the States. And so I was standing there at the ticket line, and there was a guy who was checking out.
She had control, full control, both at home and inside the organization. According to Candace, even before Charlie's passing, Erika was allegedly calling the shots at Turning Point, despite never being an official board member. She supposedly used her connections to bring in major foreign donations, particularly from Israeli groups, in exchange for Charlie publicly promoting Israel's political image to American conservatives. Candace said these weren't just friendly gestures, they were calculated moves, meetings with foreign leaders, fundraising partnerships, media pushes. All of it, according to her, was carefully arranged. She even claimed Erika and her mom's high-level intelligence ties helped transform Turning Point into one of Israel's most powerful unofficial allies in the US. And if that's true, that's a major shift from what the group originally stood for. But here's the part that hits closest to home. Candace believes she herself became collateral damage in that plan. Remember, Candace and Charlie built Turning Point America from the ground up. They were like the power duo of political activism, unstoppable together. But then out of nowhere, everything changed. Suddenly, Candace was out, her influence fading, and her relationship with Charlie practically gone overnight. According to her, that wasn't an accident at all. She says Erika was behind it. Candace says Erika saw her as a threat, a strong voice who couldn't be manipulated, someone who could ruin the plan. So she allegedly pushed Charlie to cut Candace off completely. And not only that, Candace claims Erika strategically filled key Turning Point positions with people who shared her loyalty to certain donors and agendas, not to the movement itself. She built her own team, Candace said, people who were pro-Israel and willing to play along. And honestly, the receipts she dropped were wild. Candace leaked a screenshot of a private conversation between Charlie and someone from Turning Point America, and everyone thought it was fake at first, until a USA staffer named Josh Hammer came forward and confirmed that it was real. He admitted he was the one texting Charlie in that chat, which instantly made the whole thing explode online. In that leaked exchange, Charlie appeared frustrated, even conflicted about decisions being made behind his back. He mentioned feeling boxed in, like people were trying to steer him in directions he didn't want to go. Once that leak surfaced, everything Candace had been saying suddenly looked way more believable. Then came the whispers from inside Turning Point after the shooting. The kind of talk that spreads fast, but no one dares say publicly. Multiple insiders claimed that right after the tragedy, the board immediately began discussing who would take over as CEO. And guess whose name was reportedly at the top of that list? You already know, Erika Kirk. People were stunned. The timing was almost instant. While the nation was still processing what happened to Charlie, internal talks were already underway to crown Erika as the new face of the organization. That quick succession raised a ton of eyebrows, with critics saying it looked way too pre-planned. Candace called it the fastest power transition I've ever seen. And honestly, she might be right. Because within just weeks, Erika went from grieving widow to head of a multi-million-dollar political empire. That's not normal, that's strategic. Now, whether Candace's claims are 100% accurate or not, one thing's for sure: the timing, the moves, and the secrecy around all of it feel like something straight out of a thriller. And the deeper she digs, the more people start asking the same question. Was Charlie Kirk's fall really about tragedy, or was it about power? Because the way this story's unfolding, it's looking less like heartbreak and more like a takeover. So here we are, at the point where the story's no longer just about Charlie Kirk's shocking death, but about everything that's been uncovered in the fallout. Candace Owens blew the doors off this whole thing, and now the internet can't stop talking. Whether you believe her or not, she's forced the world to look at things differently, to question, to dig, and to wonder just how deep this really goes. Even though Candace had stepped away from the day-to-day of Turning Point America, she still held power behind the scenes. Some board members even wanted her to step up as leader, but that didn't sit well with the big donors. According to multiple insiders, those donors weren't just whispering, they were threatening. The message was clear: if Erika Kirk wasn't unanimously voted in as president, the money would vanish overnight. And let's be real, in the world of politics, when the money moves, power follows. Then came another bombshell: reports that even former President Trump had voiced support for Erika's leadership. That one sentence changed everything. Suddenly, the pieces started clicking together like a puzzle no one wanted to finish. Candace said it perfectly. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a coordinated handoff of power. And looking at how fast everything unfolded, it's hard to argue. Because think about it, days after Charlie's death, Erika's calm speech didn't sound like grief, it sounded like strategy. And before the world could even process what happened, she was already back on camera hosting his show, smiling through the headlines like nothing had happened. Fans could feel it. Something just didn't sit right. The energy was cold, controlled, and calculated. People online said it didn't feel like loss. It felt like a takeover. Candace called her out directly, saying Erika had betrayed Charlie the moment he stopped playing the Israeli game. That phrase alone made the internet explode. According to Candace, Charlie had started pushing back against certain deals and narratives. And the second he did, things got dangerous. She says Erika was part of a system that couldn't risk him going rogue. Whether you believe it or not, that claim has sent chills through social media. And then came the gag orders, the silencing of voices, the sudden removals of videos, the strange content violations that creators kept getting whenever they mentioned Charlie or Erika's names. Coincidence? Candace says no way. She insists this is about control, not justice, about keeping the truth locked away while the public gets fed a sanitized version of the story. And honestly, that theory doesn't sound so crazy when every time someone speaks up, they get shut down. But what really sent everyone over the edge were the little details, the subtle things. The Omega symbol reportedly branded on Erika's hand, the polished speeches, the perfectly timed photo ops. It all looks less like mourning and more like marketing. One viral comment said it best: she wasn't grieving her husband, she was auditioning for her next role. Brutal, but people can't unsee it now. Others online started making comparisons, saying history's full of women placed in positions of influence through charm and precision. This isn't new, one viewer wrote. It's just modernized. They brought up old stories of political infiltration, comparing Erika's rise to figures who changed entire movements from the inside. And the more people watched her interviews, the more they started to believe Candace's version of events. Still, there's another side to this. Maybe Candace is wrong. Maybe grief just looks different. Maybe Erika's composure isn't manipulation, but trauma. Maybe all the dots being connected online aren't proof, just patterns drawn by people desperate for answers. Because when a story this huge hits the world, the line between truth and theory gets blurry fast. But no matter which side you're on, one thing's undeniable. This case has shaken everything. The FBI's silence, the sealed court files, the media blackout, the political whispers, it all feels like a storm that's just getting started. And at the center of it all stands Erika Kirk, the woman who went from beauty queen to widow to CEO, all in record time. So the question remains, was she a victim of circumstance or a mastermind in disguise? Was Charlie Kirk's death a tragic accident? Or part of a plan far too dangerous to speak about publicly? Candace says she knows the truth, but for now, that truth is buried beneath layers of power, silence, and fear. And as this story keeps unfolding, people everywhere are watching closely, because every time new info leaks, the picture changes just a little bit more. Maybe Candace is connecting dots that aren't there, or maybe she's the only one brave enough to say what everyone else is too scared to. Either way, one thing's for sure, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. So what do you think? Was Erika Kirk planted in Charlie's life, or is Candace Owens just stirring the pot again? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear it all. And if you've been following this wild story from the start, you already know the next chapter is going to be even crazier. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and drop a comment with your take, because we're just getting started and you do not want to miss what comes next. See you in the next one.